What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Panthers Advice. Man, as you can see by the title, I was watching the press conference and the reporter asked Bryce this question. I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. For those of you who haven't seen it, man, take a look at this right here.
A lot of idle time, and with that idle time, people were analyzing videos, looking at different throws from minicamp and OTAs, footwork. Do you feel like any parts of that part of your game have changed?
This right here is my thumbnail. Not only was I analyzing Bryce this year, I took last year's footage and compared it to this year. I went and did this year and then compared last year to this year's, and honestly, there was definitely an improvement, right? The ball was out quicker, his footwork looked better, everything looked better. Now, watch Bryce's response right here.
Is that like a media thing? Or is that happening a lot in
Yeah, everybody's looking.
For real?
Yeah, footwork, arm strength. Can you make the deep throws? I know that you look at your game as a whole, but are those different areas that you feel are a little bit different this year as opposed to last year?
I think there's for sure some differences in our system. Again, for me, it's trying to do everything I can to execute for the system, and it's a different system this year. So there's some different stuff footwork-wise that we didn't do last year.
He's right about the footwork. Dave right away said we're getting to a 3-step drop, plant that back foot, or a 5-step drop, right? Plant that back foot. We never really saw that last year, and I think part of that was because Frank was expecting Bryce to make that throw either way. And then Josh McCown, personally not a fan of, but if you go look at his highlights, the dude could literally stand like this, parallel, not open up his hips. Josh could stand like this and throw that thing 50 yards in the air like it's nothing. Josh, big old boy. But not everybody can do that. So if you ask me, that's what happened right here, where to Josh it was natural, right? Frank thought Bryce could make the throws as well. Bryce isn't making the 50-yard throw throwing it like this. We've seen it. Bryce, open up his hips, bang, 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 plant that back foot, and let it rip. So with that being said, we're going to finish what Bryce has to say, and then we're also going to look at Bryce getting angry. Take a look right here.
I want to ask you one other thing on Cam. When he says he's been where you are, he was Offensive Rookie of the Year, even though the record wasn't great. So I'm just wondering, was he really where you were, or were you in a much different place than he was, and how can he help you with that?
Woo! Look at Bryce's face. This is what the fans have been waiting on, right? He basically says, Cam was Rookie of the Year. How are you guys the same? Oh, Lord. Sometimes it be your own people. Maybe this is what Bryce needed. I mean, he really asked Bryce, how are you guys the same? I mean, maybe I'm misinterpreting it as something else. But to say, how are you guys the same? Cam won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Take a look at what Bryce had to say back.
Yeah, well, obviously I don't want to speak for him and everything that he's been through. Obviously he knows his life a lot better than I do. But also there's a lot more aspects of life. I know him. I know that he's a competitor. I know that he's a winner. I know that for him the most important thing was winning in the same way it is for me. And my assumption is that that's where it came from. And also that's not the only aspect. There's a lot of other aspects of life, of things that, so a lot of similarities we've gone through on and off the field. So again, don't want to speak towards for him or exactly what it is. But there are a lot of things that, again, he's given me guidance on, that he's made himself available to me for, which I'm very grateful for. And just being able to have that definitely means a lot.
So that right there wraps up the interview, followed by another, kind of dumb question was, do you guys talk in the locker room about the Panthers not making the playoffs in 6 years? The players don't talk about that. Why? Because Adam Thielen, the number one receiver, arguably, right, new to the team. Bryce Young, new to the team. Miles Sanders last year, new to the team. Hubbard's been here a couple years. I mean, look at the front seven. I mean, Derek Brown's been here, but around him, DJ, new to the team. Clowney, new to the team. Remember everybody I told you that's off the secondary, right? CJ Henderson, gone. Dante Jackson, gone. Von Bell, gone. players are always new to the team. They don't care about their franchise's history. They care about the franchise right now, but they don't care what happened 5 years before they got there. So, press conference was definitely interesting for Bryce Young. Much easier for Dan Morgan, but for Bryce Young, some interesting questions, as well as the first one asking, Bryce, I don't know, I didn't look, but did you go work out with so-and-so? I mean, it was an odd press conference. If you haven't already, go check it out. It's on the Panthers YouTube. So, with that being said, that's going to wrap it up. Training camp happening this week. Man, what a start to the season already. Getting Bryce worked up, and then just such a bad question to ask him. And then, whoo. Man, let the season begin, baby. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.